Hi, my name's Stanley Jones. I'm part of the Sucker Creek Indian Band, and I'm working for a major financial institution in Vancouver. I'm honored to be chosen as an everyday hero by Alice Zone from the Social Butterfly Club. Now, I've been told by Alice that I have a somewhat inspiring story, and she'd like me to pass on some of the experiences I've had, and hopefully inspire other people to achieve their goals and try to and make them believe that they can be better than even they can think they're capable of. I grew up in a very violent era. Where I grew up was a situation where the community didn't like Native people, and when you're the only Native kid there, I was simply known as that Indian kid. My mom being First Nations, she is known as simply that Indian or that Indian woman. That was our identities for pretty much most of my life. When I was old enough to be able to go up coast about 20 minutes to the local Indian band, the reception was a lot less than welcome because I was from the wrong Indian band. So for pretty much most of my life, or most of my life growing up, it was a case of not really fitting in, and it burned a hole into me. I was very angry. I was very upset. I thought, being First Nation, hanging out with other First Nations, perhaps maybe make some friends with. Well, I moved over to Vancouver as soon as I graduated. I was thinking fresh new start and be able to work on basically the whole sense of anonymity became a huge lure for me. Unfortunately, my reception here was very rocky with the First Nations community here as well, because the exact same reasons. I was from the wrong Indian band, and for a while there, I'm afraid to say that I actually turned my back on the First Nations community here because I was scared of being rejected again. Well, in 1994, I got my back broken in a home invasion, and I was told I wasn't going to be able to walk again. It took 6 months, but I was able to prove the doctors wrong. I absolutely refused to quit. I refused to listen, and I refused to allow myself to be a victim of fate. I make my own fate. That's why I'm here right now. After I went through the rehab situation with my back, I fell into a very major depression. I had to deal with certain mental health issues because of all the bad things which happened to me, and unfortunately for me, I blame these situations on anybody but myself. There comes a point where you have to take responsibility for your life, and fortunately I reached that point. I decided to take responsibility for my life. I decided to adapt and overcome. I decided to no longer be a victim, and it's very easy to play the part of a victim. That just means you're lying there and you take. I decided to go out there and make something of my life and try to prove that I am not just a stereotype. I am not just your stereotypical Indian, which most people seem to associate us with. There are First Nations people out there who are strong. They are courageous. They are doctors. They are lawyers. They're soldiers. They are people who may not necessarily get the recognition that they truly deserve. And I'm hoping for myself, working with this financial institution, by pushing a lot of the First Nations programs they have, such as scholarships and bursaries, stay in school programs, I might be able to reach out to First Nations youth and say, look, we can be so much better. Okay. We can be so much better than we believe we are capable of. If you're willing to work, if you're willing to sacrifice, anything is possible. The world is yours. You're responsible for your own happiness. You're responsible for making every decision, every situation, either a positive or a negative one. Get out there and change the world. Gandhi said it best. You have to be the change you want to see in the world. It's one thing to hear those words. It's another thing to understand it. It's a completely different thing to live it. I will be the change I want to see in this world. Thanks for watching this. And once again, thank you for Social Butterfly Club, and thank you, Aldo, for inviting me to be an everyday hero. And I wish everybody well. Bye, Chica.